This tastes really good. So, it's been a while. Hi, BookTube. Hi, it's been a long time. Well, let's first start off with where I've been since I've been away for a very long time. I was pregnant. I became pregnant. I had a child. And then COVID happened. And then I kind of went into a reading slump where I was trying to get back into reading, but I wasn't really reading the books that I wanted to read. And now I'm feeling better. And I'm excited to hopefully continue the BookTube channel, and obviously like just things happened and I just couldn't do it. You could, if you want to, take a look at my past video. I mean, I did do a newbie video or a newbie tag at the time, but I think since I've been away for a very long time and my reading taste has obviously changed since then, that I should probably do a new BookTube Newbie Tag. So, oh yeah, and in between all of that, there was a lot of moving too. I forgot to mention, there was a lot of moving. So much moving. So anyways, so let's start with the BookTube Newbie Tag. So why did you start this channel? At the time that I started this channel, when I discovered BookTube for the first time, I was enthralled by it. I couldn't believe that there was like a community of people who read books and recorded themselves and put it up on YouTube. You know, at the time I didn't realize that YouTube could be this place for readers. And so when I discovered it, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing, and it would be a really great place for me to find new books, because I always had a hard time finding new books to read that I really was interested in. Why I've kind of come back to the channel is just that since starting it the first time, I always wanted to continue, but just because of the pregnancy at the time when I was pregnant, for some reason the act of reading made me want to vomit. I don't know why, but just the act of reading just made me want to completely vomit, and I just couldn't read. I couldn't record anything. I was going through a really tough pregnancy, and so I just kind of set that aside and try to focus on the pregnancy. So why I'm back essentially is because I've discovered what I really like to read, and I've also discovered on BookTube specifically that there are people who like to read those books that I like to read. So, and it doesn't include YA fantasy. It doesn't include romance books, because YA fantasy and romance books, I don't really like them. As much as I try to read them and get into them, I just don't like them, and they're just not for me. So I've discovered some new genres, subgenres that I really like, and as a result of that, I've also discovered some really great booktubers that I also like as well, that I'm really excited to share with you guys as we progress through my journey. The next question, I have the questions here. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Fun and unique things that I think I could bring to BookTube are, I don't know yet, to be honest. I think the unique thing is that I'll be reading books that not many people are reading. I'm excited to read not the bestsellers. I'm excited to try other books. I'm excited to, maybe find some, independent publishers and, read their books. Other than that, I'm just excited to kind of just try new things, see what happens, and learn as I go, essentially. What are you most excited for about this new channel? What are you most... I'm excited to continue to discover new booktubers, because there are some new booktubers that have come out that have just like a few thousand or even a few hundred followers that I really like. So I'm excited to find those channels and share them on my channel. I'm also very excited to read new books and continue to read books that interest me. You know, books that I cannot stop thinking about for years and years to come. The next question, why do you love reading? I love reading because for me, it's just a stress reliever. You know, life is just full of so much stress these days, you know, between work and having a child and, you know, not getting any time to myself. Having that time to read is just precious for me, especially as my little one gets older and older. But one thing I actually maybe am excited about is, as she does get older and older, I'm hoping that I can introduce her to some new books as well. We do sit down and we do read with her a lot, but she is 3, so she's not very, she's kind of all over the place. But yeah, I just love reading because it's just a stress reliever for me in my life. I'm in the camera. Okay, I'm gonna drink some coffee. It's good. I love it. Okay, and I love coffee. It's so tasty, especially good coffee. Ooh, what book or series got you into reading? Well, the book that got me into reading, first book, was Harry Potter. But then the book after that was a book called Esther, which I actually have. Let me get it because it's out of print, but it's a book that I have not been able to stop thinking about. So this is it over here. This is the book called Esther by Sharon E. McKay. I'm just trying to get comfortable. And this book I read, I think it was like the first 3 Harry Potter books, and I was just like, oh my god, I need to continue reading. What do I do? Because the 4th one at the time wasn't out. And I went to Chapters, and a sales associate showed me this book because I was just like, I'm looking for something to read. I just finished reading Harry Potter. I want something with adventure. And she was like, this one's a really good one, actually. I read it. It's very good. Thank you. Whoever that associate was, thank you, because this was a really good book. It's historical fiction based off of true story, but it's told as fiction. And I'll read the synopsis. Told as fiction, Esther portrays the remarkable, nearly incredible life and times of Esther Brandeau, a young girl who lived in the 18th century and was the first Jewish person to set foot in New France. That she did so disguised as a boy, and that the eventual discovery of her deceit became an international incident, is but one part of Esther's dramatic story. With an emerging Canadian nation as its backdrop, Esther's story encompasses the quest for gender equality and the larger quest for freedom as real to a teenager in 1735 as it is today. And this is the book that I actually want to reread. I loved this book so much. Sorry, my camera stopped. Because the thing is about YouTube and social media in general is that you have to post consistently in order to gain more followers and, you know, grow the engagement and all that stuff. And that could be really hard to do, especially when you're balancing life and work already. So that will probably be one of the challenges for me going through this experience. When did you start reading? So I did start reading when I was little. My mom used to read us a story before bedtime almost every night. But then I got to grade school and I kind of just stopped reading. I don't know why, to be honest. I don't know why. We would go to the library sometimes and I would borrow books. But I don't think I was really reading them as opposed to just like kind of reading it and just not actually engaging with what I was reading. So yeah, in grade school I wasn't reading a lot, but then in high school, that's when I started to pick up reading again and trying to discover new genres and new books, and trying not to just do the YA books, but maybe even adult books, although really I probably shouldn't have been reading adult books, but at the time I was. So yeah. Where do you read? I read on my couch. I have also a little chair over there. I'll show you another time. I used to read on my bed, but I'm always falling asleep on my bed. There's literally no point of me even trying to read on my bed these days. I used to read at night all the time, and now I just can't. It's probably because of my child, but yeah, so now these days I'll read on the couch. I have a little chair. Sometimes I'll read outside if we're outside or something, like in the backyard. I'll probably read in the backyard. But yeah, that's my couch. That was a long answer. What kind of books do you like to read? Okay, what kind of books do I like to read? I like to read. So I've discovered recently that the books I like to read are historical fiction, not set around World War II, or where the surrounding premise is World War II. I do like thrillers. I'm getting into horror. I'm also trying to get into classics. I'm currently reading Mrs. Dalloway right now. I actually kind of like it, which is weird. And I'm trying to get into literary fiction. There's a lot of like Canadian literary fiction that I'm really interested in reading, and I really want to delve more into those books. So yeah, that's about it for all the questions. I know technically maybe I'm not considered a newbie, but at the same time I'm gonna consider myself a newbie, so it's okay, because I believe that my tastes in books have changed, and so a newbie tag is, I feel, deserved. So the next part is that I'm actually going to show you like my bookshelf. My room is like really, really small, and so my bookshelf is kind of in a tight corner. So I'm going to do my best to show you my bookshelf and the books that I bought recently. Okay, so this is my bookshelf. It's a very tight space if you can't tell. So I'm going to try to maneuver myself around as much as possible, but show you what's happening. So at the top is just like some candles. I have my books series that I bought, Hunger Games, and I think it's called the Mad Adam series by Margaret Atwood, which I really loved. Down below I have some books. Two of the books I've read already, so Christmas Carol and Frankenstein I've read, and then the rest I haven't, so just some smaller books as well as the books right over here. I'm not going to go into so much detail. I'll try not to go into so much detail about the books, but yeah. I guess these are like the medium-sized books. And then on this side I have some graphic novels that I've read already. On this side I have classic Wuthering Heights, which I haven't read yet, and then behind it I have some smaller paperback books that I've read already. Down below is some more books, but much smaller books, very tiny books, like this one, Bliss Montage by Ling Ma. It's anthology. I don't usually read a lot of anthologies, but I didn't mind this one. I might try to get into it a little bit more, but we'll see what happens. This one's another book that I found. Next to that, here are some other books. I'm still trying to figure out how to organize this one, only because like I have so many like medium-sized paperbacks. So I'm trying to figure out like how I'm going to space those out. But then I also have some big books here. This one is Priory of the Orange Tree, which I haven't read yet, and then Babel, which I have read, and then behind it is, I want to say a Lucy Whitehouse book, but I can't remember what it is. But it was a book that I was reading for a book club with my sister, and she read the book and she really liked it, but I read like the first few chapters and I couldn't get into it, but I'm gonna see if I could get into it later. Down below are the bigger paperbacks and like the smaller hardcovers. I haven't organized it. I don't have it organized by genre. I've been trying to organize it by size essentially, but because my room and my bookshelf is so small, I'm kind of running out of space, so I'm doing what I can. And then on this side I have like my book of the months book. I have a few other book of the months that I'm reading at the moment, so they're not here. And then on this side, wait, let me see if I could let's see. Oh yes, so on this side are the bigger hardcovers, so all the larger hardcovers go down here, and then on that side is just like random stuff, so we don't need to see that. So yeah, that's my bookshelf. So that's my the tour of my bookshelf. Again, my room is very small, but I still keep on adding books to it as if I have space. But yeah, so that's the end of the video. I hope that you subscribe, and hopefully we'll get to see each other more.